Look at that. Devil's Backbone, all those rocks protruding out the side of the hillside there in northern Colorado. Kind of cool. I just came from clear down there. And of course, a beautiful sunrise coming up in the east. Today, I am bringing you my full review in the Adidas Terrex Agravic TT. TT standing for technical terrain or technical trail. It's got some more gnarly outsole lugs and a shoe that I'm enjoying more and more as I run in it more and more. Okay, this video I'm going to be talking about the overall build quality and the comfort, the performance, and the value of the shoe. We'll compare it to a couple other shoes as well. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. I'll produce the content. All you got to do is subscribe. Moving on with the review and with this run, voiceover Chad, why don't you talk about some of the specs and features of the Agravic TT?
Adidas states, designed for the thrill seekers who crave adventure, the Terrex Agravic TT trail running shoes are your partner for conquering rocky paths. Lace up in these shoes and take your trail running experience to the next level. As for those specs and features, you get a textile synthetic upper, textile lining, a gusseted butterfly style tongue, dual layer Light Strike Pro top layer and Light Strike lower midsole, split finger TPE/fiberglass composite rock plate for protection and stability rather than for energy return, continental rubber outsole with multi-directional 4.5mm lugs, heel stack of 39mm and a toe stack of 31mm for that 8mm drop, weighing in at 272 grams or 9.59 ounces, and a US MSRP of $185. I should also state that Adidas did send me this shoe for the purpose of review, but know that all thoughts and opinions are strictly my own. And with that, Chad, back over to you on the trails.
Some deer. It's fun to see nature. A couple more. Well, those got pretty good antlers on it. Well, let's move on with this review, starting with the overall build quality and comfort. We'll kind of lump those into one. Share hopefully not just the specs, but my actual experience. So first off, build quality. I've always been impressed with Adidas build quality, especially in their Terrex Agravic line. The Agravic TT is a very well-made, well thought out shoe, and one that I've enjoyed more as I put more miles into it. I think that says a lot about the build quality. The upper is not perfect, but it is very good. Choice of materials, excellent, very strong, very breathable upper, very good at water shedding because it's so breathable. I have gotten the shoe extremely wet, although not from a stream crossing, but rather from wet snow. But I was impressed nonetheless with how the shoe did not retain water. There is some good padding around the ankle, not a substantial amount of padding, but enough to hold your heel in place. I do feel that maybe it could be slightly more secure. The midfoot of the shoe, I feel like there's just a little bit too much volume in and around the mid portion of my foot. I have, I would say, an average to narrow volume of foot. So I think for most people, perhaps for you, that will not be noticed or certainly not a concern. Most other reviewers are saying that this shoe offers a very good, solid lockdown. And I can definitely see where they're coming from. But for me, the gussets on the tongue, and the tongue is gusseted, I'll show you here on both the medial and lateral side, both sides here, the tongue is gusseted. However, they seem to be a little long for me, longer than what I'm used to in an Agravic shoe. So the tongue tends to sink down and to the side just a little bit, if you can see that. So I end up having to pull that tongue up occasionally, kind of readjust it and fix it back into place. You see this one's even worse. It's all the way off to the side, which isn't uncomfortable, but it is noticed. And once I move that tongue back in place, I do feel just a little more comfort having put it back in place. So just something again that's noticed. Other than that, it hasn't been a problem. There's no rubbing or hot spots. Certainly no blisters in the shoe, and I've put in about pretty close to 50 miles in the shoe at this point. The toe box is wide, although it's not a wide fitting shoe. However, because of the taper, I do feel the on my pinky toe, just right there on the side, the pinky toe and my big toe, I do feel the sides of the shoe occasionally. Again, not ever been a problem, but it is noticed just because of how it tapers in. You do get some excellent overlays throughout the shoe and some structural, I call them underlays, but they're textile pieces of fabric inside the shoe that help offer even more support and structure and durability as well. So really well made. I love all of those components. The laces, if you saw, they're also textured, and so they stay tight or held tight right in place, and they stay tied as well. The problem with that though, I have found that it is kind of difficult, at least for me, to get a really solid, as I mentioned, lockdown feel in the shoe across the top of my foot. What I've tried to do is tighten those laces, and they do such a good job at holding themselves in place that it's kind of hard actually to pull those laces really tight to get a good, secure, cinched down lock across the top of your foot. So it's just kind of an interesting observation. I do wish that I could cinch down those laces just a little bit more easily. It takes a little bit of work to get it down tight and secure. That said, while there is a little bit of extra volume in the upper for my foot, and I went true to size, typical 9.5, I would go true to size. I would not size down or up. Do you find on very technical terrain where kind of like the rocks here, where you're kind of all over the place and your foot's kind of going back and forth quite a bit, that my foot does move ever so slightly in the shoe. Again, it's not been a problem, but it is noticed. Moving down the shoe, you do get a high quality insole. I think it might be super critical. I don't remember the stats actually saying that, but it certainly isn't going to absorb and hold on to water. And then underneath the foot, this is where the magic of the shoe really lies. You get a Light Strike Pro, what your foot is sitting right up against, and then underneath that is a forked rock plate. It is not a plate designed to offer springiness at toe off, but rather to offer rock protection and some stability on the more technical uneven terrain, kind of like this. And I should get running again, because this is a See Chad run video, not a See Chad walk video. And then below the plate, you get just a regular Light Strike material. It is soft, a little bit of rebound. The Light Strike Pro is where all your lightweight bounce comes from. I do wish that there was more Light Strike Pro midsole underneath the forefoot of the shoe. I think that would be a lot of fun, make the shoe more, I don't know, springy to run in, but it's still really good. So all in all, I do like that midsole. I think it's going to last a long time and not pack out or compress too much over many, many miles. Again, just a high quality, good material, especially that Light Strike Pro. It's lightweight and bouncy. I really like the quality of that. And then moving all the way down to that outsole rubber, Continental grip. Continental has always done amazing with their grip in partnership with Adidas. Super happy with it, very confidence inspiring, and it lasts a long time as well. Those 4.5 millimeter outsole lugs just gripping anything and everything. Really happy, really happy with it. So overall, build quality gets a thumbs up, strong thumbs up from me. Comfort, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up as well. Honestly, underfoot feels really nice. I could see taking this shoe out for some really long all day miles. Really comfortable underfoot, feels good, really good on the downhill, but still is rewarding when you want to pick up the pace just a little bit, or you're charging on the uphill. Just really good underfoot experience. The upper is comfortable, even though there's not a lot of padding at all in the tongue or in the upper. You do get some padding in the heel, but all in all, it's actually pretty comfortable. Again, I wish it was a little more tight, a little more secure fitting around my foot, but I think for most people, it's gonna do just fine and offer the secure lockdown fit that you want without feeling too restricted. Whew. Now my left arm is getting tired of holding the camera up. Better switch arms. Let's talk about performance. Alrighty, performance. Probably what you are most interested in. The Agravic TT is made for the longer distance technical trail type of running. So within the whole Agravic lineup, you have the Agravic 4, which is your everyday trail runner. You have the Agravic Speed 2, more of your slightly shorter distance, speed racing, faster running, trail running shoe. And then you also have the Speed Ultra 2, also made for faster efforts and longer distance. And the Agravic TT fits somewhere in the middle of all that. Probably somewhere in between the Agravic 4 and the Speed Ultra 2, where you get the long distance capabilities of the Speed Ultra 2 with the everyday capabilities of the Agravic 4, all packaged up for more of that all-day technical trail running type of efforts. So this is one of those shoes that I wouldn't hesitate to take out on an ultra effort, whether it's a race or just an adventure. I love coming out here. Pretty varied terrain as well. Anything from kind of groomed, somewhat groomed single track like this to somewhat of a more technical rocky sections. Just a wonderful area, and actually a good test for the TT. Even though I'm not getting up into the higher alpine, you know, super technical mountain running, I think it would be right at home with that. And the more I run in the shoe, the more I like it. It's like it's coming into its own and kind of breaking in. Just really enjoying it. Now there's a couple things that stand out when it comes to performance. One, the midsole. I really like a combination of that light strike carrier, the lower and carrier portion of the midsole, and then you get that light strike pro right underneath your foot. It's bouncy and lightweight. I wish we had more of it in this shoe, but that may compromise stability. This is a higher stack shoe, and considering that it's 39 millimeters in the heel, 31 millimeters in the toe, the shoe is deceptively stable. I say deceptively because I have rolled my ankle gently twice. Both my right and my left ankle on different runs. Part of it was that I just wasn't paying attention, but the shoe is a little top heavy feeling because you got that higher stack. You're up higher off the ground. Now you do get a slightly wider platform, especially up here in the forefoot. So it does flare out just a little bit on each side to help offer some good stability. It doesn't narrow in too much here underneath your arch or the midfoot, unlike the Speed Ultra 2. So again, just a good overall platform underneath your foot, but it is a higher stack shoe. So you are gonna feel the occasional slight wobble if you're not careful with where you step, which is slightly concerning considering that this is a technical terrain, technical trail runner. Forked rock plate in the shoe does help to stabilize things a little bit. It also does a good job at protecting your foot from sharp protruding rocks. That said, I don't know that you need it so much as a rock plate because you get a full coverage of outsole, rubber, and the midsole is thick enough that frankly, rocks are going to have a hard time protruding up and actually interfering with your foot. So the rock plate does more to stabilize the shoe than anything else, in my opinion. The rock plate doesn't go all the way back to the heel, so it does allow your heel a good amount of cushioning to sink into when you're going on the downhill. The shoe isn't a heavy shoe, but it's not the lightest of shoes, coming in at about 272-ish grams. Lightweight enough to be comfortable and feel good on those longer all-day efforts. And I already mentioned it in the upper. That performs well from a lightweight breathability perspective. If you have a not so voluminous foot, you might find that the shoe struggles just a little bit, like me, to really secure your foot well. Now, that said, for ultras, sometimes you want just a little bit of extra volume in the upper because your foot may swell slightly on those all-day ultra efforts. So take that for what it's worth. Let me know your thoughts about the upper. I think Adidas got it right. It instills confidence when running in technical terrain. Just be careful that because of the higher stack, you're not accidentally rolling your ankle. But otherwise, underfoot experience really is nice. All in all, very positive, and performance gets thumbs up from me. I'm gonna catch my breath. We're gonna walk this out for a little bit. Whoo! Look, that's a hawk. All right, moving on with value and comparing it to a few other shoes. $185 US MSRP. I think that is starting to get up there in price, although I understand why Adidas is charging or asking $185. You're getting the right materials, a good solid build, as I already mentioned, in a package all wrapped up to perform well on those longer technical running efforts. So I think $185 is probably a fair price to play, but it does compete with a few other shoes that maybe are some alternative considerations. Few that I've thought of. One, the first one I thought of was the new Arc'teryx Cyclen 2. Now that shoe is more expensive, $220 if I remember right, but it's touted as also a mountain technical running shoe. However, that probably competes a little more with the Adidas Terrex Agravic Speed Ultra 2. It's a long name. Coming down the price point quite a bit, the new Hoka Speed Goat 7, $165 for that shoe. A shoe that I really enjoyed. There are some questions about overall durability and sizing. I do recommend sizing up at least half a size. Seems like that toe box just comes a little short, doesn't offer quite as much room as I would want. I felt my toes hitting the end of the shoe in that one, especially on the downhill. But still a shoe that I've enjoyed and really like the updates that Hoka provided in the Speed Goat 7. But the Adidas Agravic TT is, in my opinion, the better shoe. Another shoe that I thought of, the VJ Ultra 3. I love that shoe. Arguably, that shoe has a better overall lockdown feel with a little bit more room and an anatomical shaped toe box. So a little more room in the toe box that fits your foot a little bit better. I would say that shoe is probably slightly more comfortable and fits my foot better. But some people have reported that the midsole packs out or compresses a little bit quicker than I would have expected. So it may not be the shoe that lasts as long as the TT. So I'm gonna have to give the build to the Agravic TT. I think, again, Adidas did a phenomenal job there. The VJ Ultra 3 comes in at about $190. So about the same price point, competes in the same realm. Again, a good higher stack shoe that's gonna do well in technical running, offer quite a bit of bounce in an overall lightweight package. I love the Ultra 3, but it may not last as long as the TT. Another shoe, slightly more expensive, is the La Sportiva Prodigio Pro. That one actually started out at $195. They've recently raised the price. I think it's like $220. Maybe you can find it on sale. If you do find it on sale, probably competes with the Agravic TT and price point, and is also a very good shoe for technical mountain running, but can be a shoe that you take out on some speedier, faster efforts. Supercritical midsole, phenomenal shoe. I really enjoyed the La Sportiva Prodigio Pro. Definitely a competing shoe to the Agravic TT in my opinion. Which one would I take? I don't know. I like them both. Can I just have them both? Thanks. So $185 is probably a competitive price and a worthwhile price to pay if you've got a little extra dough in your pocket and you're looking for a high quality shoe that you can do both your training miles in and your ultra racing in, and especially if the trails get to be a little bit more technical. The more miles I put in the shoe, the more I find that I'm enjoying my experience in it. So now I want to turn it over to you. What do you think about the Adidas Terrex Agravic TT? Or is one of the other Agravic shoes one that you maybe would consider instead? Or at $185, is there a different shoe entirely that you would consider? Let me know. Drop a comment down below. Well, I think that's all I have for you on today's review video. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If you've got any questions, drop a comment down below. If you made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I've got about 6 miles left on my 20-mile run today, and I'm really enjoying myself. So I will see you on the next one. Remember to be consistent, express gratitude, and enjoy every mile as I am today, truly, in the Adidas Agravic TT. I will see you on the next video. Bye now.